Welcome back, dear viewers, and we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Medhat Meligi, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Many thanks for your insights, sir. Ambassador Meligi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Sir, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is on a current visit to China, where he is meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two leaders are expected to discuss a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern, the top of which is the war in Gaza and means of regaining stability in the region. How would you assess the significance and the timing of this visit?
Well, actually, there are two axes to look at this, actually three, if we would like to be more accurate, to look at this visit. The first one is the bilateral relations that have been tying Egypt to China and China to Egypt. I mean, we have to remind our viewers that this is the 12th time that President Sisi and President Xi Jinping are going to meet. This is the 12th time. Which shows to the level of cooperation and the level of respect that both leaders have to each other and the relations between the two countries. So this is the first axis. The second one is the Arab Sino Summit, which is going to be inaugurated by the Chinese president himself on Thursday. The third act, which is a very important one, which is the current timing, and of course the genocide that has been taking place in Gaza right now, and the support that the Palestinian cause have been enjoying from China and the President of China. So I think those are the main three axes of which we can look at the visit that comes in a very important timing on one hand, and the willingness of the two leaders to further enhance cooperation and development of relations between the two countries.
Great. Ambassador Meligi, the two leaders are scheduled also to witness the signing of a number of deals and memoranda of understanding in various fields. Now, how do you assess economic cooperation between Egypt and China?
I think it's always has been going in the right direction, and it has been elevated for so many times until today. And but I mean, let's be very clear on this. Egypt has been adjusting its economy for further attract investments, and I think the Chinese leadership and the Chinese people have been eager to work side by side with Egypt, especially after the reforms that have been undertaken in Egypt by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in order to attract more investments and to create more opportunities for foreign investors to come. China has always been known for a country that doesn't leave good commercial and economic opportunities to get out of hand. So that's why China is also eager to work with Egypt. And in the light of this, the two leaders are going to provide the umbrella, which are the memorandum of understanding you just talked about in various fields, so that whether we are talking about the state or the private sector will be able to work under these umbrellas to foster more the cooperation and the economic ties between the two countries. So I think it's very important, the opportunities that has been provided by Egypt. Let's not forget one very important factor, that maybe this is going to be the first time that we are going to be talking with the Chinese, our Chinese friends, after being full-fledged member of the BRICS, which is, as we all know, a very economic bloc that is going to help more Egypt, especially Egypt, and to attract more investments from BRICS countries. And China is, of course, the leading one of this bloc.
Great. Sir, President Sisi is slated to hold a number of meetings with the heads of a number of giant Chinese companies over attracting investments in Egypt. Now, how far do you see Chinese direct investment present in Egypt?
Well, I think it's the President Sisi wants to make it clear the reforms that he has undertaken to adjust the Egyptian economy to be more attractive to foreign investments. He has to, along of course with the delegation that is accompanying His Excellency to China, he is going to show the opportunities that Egypt is providing for Chinese investors. And I think that there are so many facades of those adjustments, so that when the Chinese are willing to enter the Egyptian market, they find exactly what they are looking for. But I mean, I think that one of the most important things that we have to discuss is that if we are talking about economic and commercial ties with the Chinese, I think the opportunities will present itself based on various factors, and the most important one, of course, is that the attraction of the proposition from the Egyptian government. I think that one of the most important sides that we have also discussed, besides the economic and political and commercial factor, is to talk about also our desire to have more Chinese involvement into political issues, especially the regional and international issues. Of course, on top of them is the Palestinian issue. I mean, we do have and enjoy support from the Chinese government that has been expressed on so many levels to the Palestinian cause. But maybe we are hoping for some more involvement into the issues. I mean, we've been seeing how the Europeans, how the Americans are involved in the Middle East crisis and how they defend their interests, and we hope that the Chinese, with their presence, especially after the absence to a certain extent of our Russian friends due to the conflict that is taking place in Ukraine, so the Chinese are in a very good place, if they want to be more present in the current crisis, to create a certain equilibrium in the crisis, and to have more pressure on Israel and the United States to force Israel to comply to the international law. And we hope to see this after the negotiations that President Sisi and other three leaders from the Arab world that are going to discuss with the Chinese leadership.
Great. Sir, President Sisi, as you've mentioned earlier, will also attend the inaugural session of the 10th Ministerial Meeting of the China-Arab States Forum, which will be held on Thursday, bringing together Chinese President and a number of Arab leaders. Sir, would you tell us more about the significance of this meeting?
Well, it's very important because we are talking now institutionally, not just about Egypt as an individual country, although Egypt is the leading country of the Arab world, but we are talking about the Arab world as a bloc that has been more concretized, especially after the Israeli operations in Gaza and after the last Arab summit that took place in Bahrain. As you know, of course, the King of Bahrain is one of the 4 Arab leaders that are going to participate in the summit that you just mentioned. But I think personally that I was hoping for more Arab presence during this summit. I mean, we have 4 countries. We wish we could have a little bit more to voice out and to speak about our desire to have our Chinese friends next to us, to support us in the current situation. But nevertheless, those 4 leaders who are going to be present will be more than capable of presenting our concerns and our aspiration to have a more positive role, although it's already positive, but even more involved of the Chinese in the crisis of the region, especially that they have their own interests to work economically with the Arab countries, and in order to be able to do so, we have to regain once again the stability in the region, and maybe their presence politically into this conflict will actually encourage the situation to be more calm, and accordingly to have more development process in the economic field and so on.
Great. Sir, how does Egypt's strategic cooperation with China within the Belt and Road Initiative influence its regional and global positioning?
Well, actually, the important thing is that China has this a kind of a roadmap for better development of cooperation and economic ties with the Arab world, and I think that Egypt was one of the countries that were participating in this initiative ever since it started, and maybe more countries will join. And actually, the most important thing is that this initiative and others are helping to create the environment that is necessary for a better cooperation and better exchange of commercial exchange and economic exchange between our area here and our country here in Egypt and other initiatives. Egypt also has presented the Suez Canal free zone, which is also one of the things that China has been eager to work with, and we hope to see more projects in this area that Egypt has crafted, especially to attract more investments, especially from the Chinese. And we hope that this will be translated into more projects that we will see and will benefit not just Egypt as a country, but also Egypt as a door to the Middle East and to Africa as well. This is a very important part of the relations of Egypt for the Chinese, and we consider ourselves as the main door to many African countries. That's why one of the discussions that will definitely take place is the tripartite negotiations, so that we can, with the Chinese, develop other kind of economic ties with other countries in Africa and the Middle East.
Great. Sir, Egypt has long historical ties with China. Would you please elaborate on the evolution of those ties?
Well, actually, I mean, the relations between Egypt and China has been going, as I said at the beginning. This is the 12th visit between the two leaders, the 12th meeting between the two leaders, Egypt and China. But also, we are talking that China is Egypt's largest trading partner in the world. Actually, China is now becoming the most important thing. Of course, we always talk about Europe as being our main partner in commerce and economy. But when it comes to individual countries, China, of course, is one of the biggest countries, if not the biggest at all. And the projects that have been implemented by the Chinese in Egypt, and common projects that we are both doing together, and the projects that we are both looking for to help the African continent with it. I mean, there are so many things. I mean, the idea is that, I mean, we have already a $16 billion of trade volume between the two countries, and it has increased by 21% in last year, in 2023. As you mentioned it a few minutes ago, Egypt is one of the main players in the Belt and Road Initiative, which was launched in 2013. And I mean, Egypt has opened itself to partners of renewable energy in Central Asia, with its accession in 2022, Shanghai Cooperation Organization as a dialogue partner, and the BRICS. I mean, the list is very long when it comes to the relations between Egypt and China. And we, as I said, I mean, there are various factors, but the most important thing is that we made very good reforms in order to attract the Chinese, and we hope that after the meetings that President Sisi is having, whether we are talking about the Chinese officials or the private sector in China, we are going to see more cooperation and more involvement of the Chinese in Egypt, and for the benefit of the Egyptian people and the rest of the African continent as well.
Great. Mr. Ambassador, President Sisi's visit to China coincides with the 10th anniversary of the strategic partnership between Egypt and China. How do you see the significance of this partnership?
Well, it shows, as we said before, that we reached this comprehensive strategic partnership, and it's been 10 years for this high-level relations between the two countries, and I think this comes at a moment where we are going to hold this summit, whether we are talking about President Sisi himself or with other senior head of state from the Arab world. I think all this is serving, as I said before, as an umbrella to have better and stronger relations and ties with the Chinese. The visit is not a one-day visit, as you have seen. I mean, it's a 5-day visit, which is actually, for a state visit, it's a very long one, which shows the level of commitment from both countries and both leaders towards having better and stronger relations and stronger economic ties between the two countries. So I think that Egypt is not only paving the way for better relations for itself as a country, but for the region, whether we are talking about the Middle East, Arab countries, or in Africa. And I think that the Chinese realize the importance of Egypt as the cornerstone of their relation with this area of the world. It has to go through Egypt, which gives Egypt an extra weight when it comes to the importance of the visit that we're having right now.
Great. Well, I would like to thank you so much, Ambassador Medhat Meligi, former assistant to the foreign minister. Many thanks for your insights, sir. And dear viewers, with that we come to the end of this special edition covering President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's current visit to China. Many thanks for watching.